James.
I'm Holly, and we're here to talk to you today about Avengers Endgame.
Dun dun dun.
Again, we know there are a lot of people excited about this movie coming out, so we're going to try to just start by talking about our thoughts, maybe a recap of what you want to know going in, and then we will let you know when you should shut off the video until you've seen the movie.
Yes. So, where did we leave off? In Infinity War, basically, if you haven't seen it by now, I don't know where you've been. You're probably never gonna see it, so I feel safe discussing
and you're probably not super excited and jazzed to be running out to go see Endgame.
Yeah.
But if you don't already know, 50% of the population is gone.
The population of the universe, not just Earth.
I just said population. So that also means a good bit of our Avengers are gone at the beginning of this movie as well.
Yes, where this movie picks up, we've seen a lot of people turn to dust, leaving us with basically the Avengers that we began with way back when in the first Avengers movie. We have Captain America, we have Tony Stark, we have the Hulk, Thor,
Black Widow, Hawkeye,
and I guess the only other person that made it was Ant-Man.
Rhodey?
Oh yeah, Rhodey made it.
The dude from the raccoon. I don't know his
name. Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. I forgive you because you haven't really watched these movies.
And the sister.
The sister. Nebula.
So, we should also start off by saying, while we did go see Avengers, obviously, opening weekend, I am an Avengers fan. I was not a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan, so I have not seen all of those movies, so I am missing a piece of the puzzle, and I need to go back to that at some point in time in my life. We are also not huge comic book fans, so I don't think...
Well, to say we're not huge comic book fans is probably a misstatement. We would probably love them if we read them. We just haven't read very many of them.
So we don't know the original actual stories that the Avengers movies have come from. So there is no comparing or contrasting on our end from the movies to the comics.
Yes,
things like that.
This is strictly from a movie fan standpoint.
And in particular, a Disney fan standpoint. So the biases that will come with that will come with that.
All right, so we pick up with our Avengers. You just had the finger snap, and everybody's trying to figure out what to do now. And so...
General thoughts about the movie before we get into specifics.
General thoughts about the movie. It definitely worth going to see if you're the superhero comics fan. If you haven't, then you probably haven't watched any of the other movies or don't really care all that much about it. So,
I agree. I think it's definitely worth a see. I liked it. I feel like it was very emotion and character heavy. They gave you a lot more, for lack of a better word, a lot more heart from each character and what they were going through and what their struggles were. It gave a lot of them the opportunity to grow for the better. I think most of them grew for the better. If you take the bad guy out of it, because the bad guy's always going to suck and not grow. It's part of the definition of bad guy, I think.
I don't know, but can't have a good guy without a bad guy.
That's true.
So there wouldn't be a need for the Avengers if you didn't have a Thanos.
That's true.
So,
oh, we forgot Captain Marvel's in this one as well.
Oh, yes. Easily forgettable. Anyway. Moving on.
That could mean so many things. So overall, definitely worth seeing. Gosh, I don't know what else to say without like getting deep into it. For the safe beginning part, let's just say that I like the way that they went with Hulk in this movie. I loved the Hulk character in this movie. Thor was fun too. Let's just leave it like that for right now. And I guess we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it's worth going to see this. It's worth seeing Thor in this movie, and it might not be for the same reasons that you've always gone to see Thor before.
Yes. They definitely had a lot more comedy in this. More so than I think a lot of the other films, with the exception of maybe like the Ant-Man. Ant-Man was very comedy heavy.
And Ant-Man was quite serious in this one.
Yes.
Himself. So, I think you see a lot of different sides of a lot of different people in this movie. And you see a lot of the original, because I like you said, the original Avengers, being Tony and Cap and the Hulk and Thor, and those four in particular, you see huge growth from each of them. They are all in very different places than they were when we started this journey. And I think they all, had really good storylines to follow.
This movie touches a lot on all the past movies that they did.
If you are an a strongly emotionally charged person, I would recommend Tissues. I don't think and apparently I'm a big crybaby as I get older. I don't think I cried at the end of Infinity Wars, but I was close because with Spider-Man and Tony, like that just kind of
that was a very serious
that kind of hurt my heart there. But the end of this one, I told myself I wasn't, but I did. I cried. I just didn't whine and boo-hoo as much as I wanted to because it's trying to be tough.
I guess there was a little bit of tear in my eye, but I didn't cry.
I did. I was trying to be tough. Apparently, I'm not tough. Not that kind of tough.
I mean, definitely emotional at the end because, let's face it, this has been 10 years of going to the movies, watching Iron Man, Captain America. We won't talk about the old Hulk movies because, they're questionable at best.
Thor.
Yeah, we've seen the Thors.
We've seen Black Widow for a while. We've seen Hawkeye for a while.
But they didn't have their
even
own
the
movies.
Avengers.
I'm just discussing the movies.
But even the Avengers that didn't have their own movies have been
in
a variety of these movies. I mean, so we've been with them for all these years.
Yes.
Whether they have their own standalone movie or not, they've been here. Any other general thoughts? Go see it.
Yeah, go see it. We're seeing it the first weekend, but we also didn't see it opening night. So, depending on how big of a fan you are, you may be waiting for some of the crowds to die down, which I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon because. There's a lot in this movie, and I would be more than happy to go see it again just to catch glimpses of things that I may have missed.
And considering we probably are not the most die-hard superhero fan, the fact that we are saying we would be open to seeing it again, I imagine there's a lot of other people saying that, so crowds dying down, I don't see that happening very much.
Third or fourth week, maybe.
But if you don't see it while it's in the theaters, you can probably get it on Disney Plus in November.
Yes. Shameless plug for the Disney fan.
And again, I do not work for Disney, but very excited for Disney Plus. So I would imagine all of your Avengers movies are going to be on there.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if they'll all be on there on release on November 12th, so do not quote me on that. I have not gone through the lists and pages of what will be on Disney Plus when it comes out. But
they are supposed to have a new Loki series.
yes, and I hear there's going to be a Hawkeye series as well. But I'm not sure where in the range of the first year or two those are going to be coming out. So you'll have to do your research for that.
So I feel safe in saying that in this movie, you already saw a bunch of people turn to dust prior to this movie. And needless to say, you will see a few other people die in this movie.
I feel more dust.
Yeah, I feel safe in saying that they succeed and Thanos is no longer with us.
Okay.
So the real question is, how did they get to the end game?
So this is where you should probably, since it sounds like we're already going over the wall, you should probably turn off the video if you haven't seen the movie yet, because we do respect the, we don't want to spoil it for the people who haven't seen it yet. This is me rambling long enough to give you fair warning that you should have turned off the video by now. And there's not a lot more rambling I can do. So if you've gotten this far and you haven't turned it off and you haven't seen it, don't blame me. Blame yourself.
Not much more I can add to that.
Alright, so tell us what the plan was to get us there. Well, I think I'm jumping too far. I think we need to start with Ant-Man.
What about Ant-Man?
Well, because we know that all the Avengers that are left have assembled, right? They're still... Well, maybe not all of them are still
They showed Ant-Man showing up in the trailer, so that's not really a spoiler.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's a spoiler per se, but, I mean, we know that the majority of the Avengers that are still around have gotten back together. Some of them are still doing the superhero thing, and some of them have decided to have more of a low-key life.
Yes.
With their family.
Yes. There's so much. There's so many heroes. It's like where to begin with that. It's so you show where the movie opens up where it's right after the finger snap, and then nobody knows what to do. They're kind of lost, and skip ahead 5 years, and if you've seen Ant-Man and Wasp, then you saw at the very end of that Scott goes into the quantum realm, and everybody that was assisting him turned to dust, leaving him in the quantum realm, wondering what's going to happen to Ant-Man. So he was clearly there when the finger snap happened, and by fluke chance, he was brought back. So the movie skips ahead 5 years from finger snap, and we find the heroes, like Holly said, kind of a few of them doing the whole hero thing, and some of them just kind of laying low and doing other things. And Scott makes it back out of the quantum realm, and he is lost, not realizing that 5 years have passed since he went in. All he knows is that a lot of weird stuff has happened, and
people have gone missing.
Yes. So Scott goes to find the Avengers. He kind of wanders around, and he figures out, I guess, from talking to people and whatnot, that what has actually happened, and he's got this idea in his head, and he seeks out the Avengers and presents them with this plan of dun dun dun, time travel. If we hadn't figured that was coming,
they do some fun, I think fun, pop culture references to a myriad of other movies who have used time travel, and how it did not work out.
Or how it didn't make sense.
Right. When they discuss the plan. So, in answer to James's question of obviously Thanos is gone, we've succeeded. How did they get there? Time travel and finding the Infinity Stones before Thanos does is their plan.
Yep, and it was pretty interesting how they did it. They went back in groups to different time periods. And,
before they went back in groups, though, they had to assemble a full team because they were a little short. Some of the Avengers were no longer actively avenging. In fact, a lot of our originals, Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man, were not actively avenging anymore. So the beginning of the movie does spend a good bit of time connecting you to where these people have been for the last 5 years. I worry that some people will say that was a slow start to the movie. I think it was definitely a necessary start to the movie, and I really enjoyed that character development pieces. Some of it was very heartwarming, some of it was fun and interesting, and some of it was just downright hilarious. Yeah, I'm not going to take all the fun out of the movie for you. So again, I like what they did with the Hulk. Tony is great in this movie, and you've got to see Thor.
Yeah,
and the new Asgard.
Yes, the new Asgard. Yeah, Captain was still Captain. Ant-Man was still Ant-Man, of course, because no time had really passed for him. Right. So they
Black Widow kind of took over and took charge.
Yeah, she was managing those that were still avenging. And you had Captain Marvel introduced in there.
She was still doing her avenging, but throughout the universe, not just on Earth.
Yeah, she was there before they skipped ahead. She was introduced before they skipped ahead 5 years. Mm-hmm. And they just kind of showed them periodically that it's like, hey, checking in, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And so they formulate the plan that they're going to go back in time and they're going to get the Infinity Stones before Thanos can. And
with the goal of undoing what he's done.
Yes, not stopping what he's done, but actually just bringing the people back with another snap of the finger.
Which apparently, we learn just doing that initially almost killed Thanos. So this gauntlet of stones is pretty serious, even if you are the one wielding it.
They go back in time, and to different periods of time when they knew when and where the stones were, with the mission of retrieving the stones and ultimately planning to return them to the original point in time in which they took them. So some interesting situations occur, some funny things.
And they left some doors open for future people who may have not been around at the end of Infinity Wars, but may be on the loose or currently still in this plane of existence for the future. So who knows what that could mean?
Yeah, and there were some characters at the end of the film that not really sure who they were. I don't recall seeing them before, but I had heard that there were going to be a few scenes with future Avengers.
Mm-hmm. And you see a little bit of everybody at the end. Even if we hadn't followed them throughout the movie, you get pretty much a cameo of everyone from every movie.
Yeah.
At the end. So that opens the door for a lot of things.
So they go back and they're gathering up the stones, and guess what? Thanos discovers that they went back in time, and so now that's opening up a whole new can of worms, because when the Avengers return to the future with the stones and they snap their finger and undo everything, Dun dun dun! Thanos arrives from the past.
With all of his evil children and armies.
And so an amazing battle ensues.
An amazing battle ensues. Because we, the Avengers, have snapped our fingers and we do have our full
complement of Avengees.
Our full brother and sisterhood of Avengers and their armies are there. It is a pretty awesome, epic battle. Not being I watch a lot of battling movies, the best thing that I can compare it to is it felt Lord of the Rings epic to me when it came to, final battle time.
It is culminating at least a decade's worth of films, so right. It better be good.
Yeah, it felt very reminiscent of that to me, and I thought it was a pretty good battle. It was, you get a little bit of everything there. I mean, you had your full power of Avengers, so you had wizards and you had machines and you had telekinesis. You got any type of battling that you wanted to see, hand-to-hand combat. You got everything in this battle because you had multiple armies against multiple armies.
Yeah, there was a question that I had at the end of the Infinity War when Scarlet Witch was trying to hold back Thanos, and my question was always, as powerful as she is, why didn't she just rip him apart? Being that she was able to just do whatever the heck she wanted to Vision. And, that got answered. In this, she was literally ripping him apart.
She got her second chance.
Yeah, she was literally ripping him apart.
And since she is one of my favorites, I was quite happy to see that.
But she got interrupted. So she didn't succeed in ripping him apart.
Nothing happens easily in the last battle of an epic war. I mean, come on.
Captain Marvel appears for the 5 seconds worth of the movie at the end to do some stuff, and I guess it was significant stuff, but so much hype around Captain Marvel, and I don't know, she just doesn't impress me that much. I guess I was never a fan of Superman. Well, I guess I liked the Superman movies with Christopher Reeves, but I always felt that, this is ridiculous. He's just too strong. It's like, nobody stands a chance against him. And they built up Captain Marvel to be, she is just so awesome that nothing can stand a chance against her. It's like, well, why wasn't she there at the beginning of the movie? And she could have just taken care of it right then and there. It's, just they built up so much hype around her, and I just feel that it was all kind of like smoke and fizzle.
Well, speaking of super gods or godly type people, there's some interesting stuff that goes on with Thor and Captain America in this movie too. It was a jaw-dropping moment for me. I was amazed.
There were some things that when I was watching, it's like, wait, what just happened here? And then a few seconds later, oh, okay,
I see where we're going now.
And
lots of character arcs. And so, I don't think the ones we know, maybe not some of the newer characters who may very well have more of their own movies going forward, and we can see some of that. But those originals that we saw from the beginning, I think I would say that I'm personally happy with where they ended their journeys with us at this point.
I've got mixed feelings.
I mean, it's heartbroken in some places.
Yeah, it's like there are a couple of key characters that it's like, it's some of my personal favorites, and
if you can't tell who some of our personal favorites are.
And there was a little bit of a passing of the torch there, and
yeah, there's some mixed feelings there.
I will say that after having spent money on these movies over the past 10 years, that it's like, you know,
movies and clothes and Christmas ornaments. I mean, for not being super diehard fans, we're pretty good fans.
It's kind of hard. Yeah, I don't know. Marvel and Disney may have just kind of done themselves in with this one, because it's one of those things that, where the heck do you go from here? It's like, I mean, this was so epic.
You make a new land in Disney?
Okay, we can do
That's
that.
where you go from here. Can you hear us, Disney? Make a new land in a domestic park. I don't want to have to
Probably
Tokyo.
Hollywood Studios, because
There's not going to be any room left in Hollywood Studios.
but it's not gonna fit in. Not gonna fit in Magic Kingdom. What?
Fifth Gate new park. I mean, they should have done that for Star Wars itself. But can you see Star Wars and Marvel Land in the same park?
Yeah.
The Muppets don't stand a chance.
There's always room for the Muppets. It's like Jell-O.
They would get eaten up.
I think they're in a perfect spot there. Disney just needs to expand, truly expand the parks, and not just tear out stuff that's already there.
But I do hear that if you go abroad, there is an Iron Man ride in one of the parks.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen in Florida because of the licensing with Universal. Anyway.
Tangent.
So, where do they go from here?
I don't know. Where do they go from here?
It's like, I feel that in the future I will be saving a lot of money from not going to see the superhero movies at the theaters, because I just don't know.
If they give Scarlet Witch a movie, I'm in.
Okay, yeah, so I would be in.
I'd even go see a Falcon movie, or whomever he is now.
But
I like Falcon.
it's like, just
Give Hulk another movie. That poor guy needs another movie. Who wants to see Hulk get another movie? He was really
Future
good
Hulk.
in this one. Yeah, like, he's awesome Hulk in this one. This is my favorite Hulk. I need a plush Hulk.
But I mean, they just, again, this was so awesome and epic.
Spider-Man can still have another movie.
Well, yeah, hell, of course he's gonna have another movie.
And I have to say, I may upset some people here, but Spider-Man has never been a character in any of his iterations that I have remotely liked. He's always kind of annoying to me. And I just have not really gotten into his character. I have really grown into liking this this actor and the way they've done Spider-Man here. He's got his, I guess you can call his annoying tendencies, but he feels more human, though.
More relatable, yeah.
Yeah. He's not just some annoying little twerpy teenager in these movies. And maybe it's the bond that he has with Tony, or the mentorship that Tony kind of fosters in these movies that I like. But I like him, and he can
or his pop movie references.
Maybe. That is kind of funny, too. And then you say, where do they go from here? So there was a cameo of someone we couldn't really identify at the end, so there may be another superhero coming out.
Well,
that
of course
we don't
there's going to be
even know.
more superheroes coming out.
But I'm answering your question, where do we go from here?
But
We
can they live up to this?
How many times have you been...
It's like the new Star Wars movies versus the originals. It's like the new ones coming out just aren't living up.
Depends on who you are. Some people love the new ones. Some people like the new ones better than the second, second set, the one episode 1, 2, 3.
Well, the vast majority of people didn't like or care for 1, 2, and 3. They just, Star Wars fans are crazy and they'll pay for anything with Star Wars in it.
Oh no, we're gonna have to bleep that out so that all the Star Wars fans don't come try to kill us, especially because we know some of them.
But
how many times have we said something, Disney, I don't know about this, and eaten our words later?
Yeah,
it happens a lot.
I'm okay. I hope I am wrong, but I'm also okay with eating my words, as I only pay for it once on digital download and not to see it at the movie
I hope you are wrong
one
too,
or two times, and then
because now
buying
the
it
whole
on.
world will be able to see you eat your words later. You heard it here, people.
So, well, is there anything else you want to talk about here, or just the sadness that
The
that
sadness
you feel?
in your heart. No, I cannot talk about the sadness in my heart because I'm not crying a second time, and I do not want to give away the end. Even though, we talked a little bit more than generalities in this. I don't want to give you all the fun pieces away. I want you to still be able to go out and experience that for yourself.
But hopefully, if you're watching this, you are a big fan and you've already seen the movie, probably before us.
Quite possibly. So, all I have to say is, go see it.
Yep, go see it.
It's worth the money.
Yes.
Another 2 thumbs up.
Hulk thumb. Smash. But in the near future, we should have some other videos. Not movie reviews. We hope you like our movie reviews.
But we're going to diversify a little bit here. So please make sure that you subscribe, give us a thumbs up, feel free to share, and click the notification bell so that you know when new content comes available.
Till next time.
See you real soon.